Good afternoon, good evening, hello, good morning, wherever you are in the world. I trust everybody is well. Hello, Dennis.
Hello,
Dennis,
how are you?
we are well, thank you. Dennis is the builder that is working with us, doing the general installation, supervision, management, Australia-wide. I'll say more about that a little bit later, and I will introduce Dennis formally in a minute. So, what we want to do is give a general overview of the Lodge, a very exciting program and project that we have literally worked on for the last 5 years. Dennis and I have done a tremendous amount of work of getting us where we are now. And I have to say, I'm really proud of that. We have, from where I'm sitting, and I'm sure Dennis agrees, solved the supposed to be housing crisis, which is really a labor crisis in
Yep.
Australia, by applying latest technologies in manufacturing, in logistics. So this is the culmination of 5 years' work. I was nearly there 2.5 years ago. And then the supplier decided to discontinue in Australia, which was very unfortunate. But we have set everything up now in a troika in 3 companies, and I'll explain that a bit more in a minute as well. Really proud of where we're at. As always, property friends, I, myself, and Ulla, we are building one on Magnetic Island. I'm happy to disclose that's the first one that we're building for ourselves, for the team. We have a number of projects that will be news to existing members. We are now doing some projects as well. So, for example, we have got a 3,000 square meter site in Western Australia that we are doing together with some of the members of the team. I make no qualms about that. That is the back room of Property Friends, and you only get in there by invitation only. This is, in my view, not more risque, but I want to make sure that the people that join those developments are very secure and understand fully what's going on.
Yeah, no, let's get into it. I'm excited to be part of this project and working with you to deliver what are solutions that I've certainly been looking to do over the past years as well. So looking forward to this.
Excellent. All right, from backyard to bankable, unlocking property investment and ownership with the Turnkey Lodge. Just some housekeeping. We know we are on a webinar. I'm not going to spend much time on it. Things can go wrong and likely are going to go wrong. Let's be patient. If you have any questions, and please do. And I've got in the background, Joanne is sitting there as a co-host. Hello, Joanne. Thanks for your help. Joanne will take down any questions. We have put 15 minutes aside for Q&A. So we really want to make this interactive and standing by for all the curly questions that you may have. Whatever comes up, the only question that's no good question is the one that's not being asked. All right. Then thank you for joining in. We're obviously delighted to have you. The usual disclaimer, we don't know your specific situation, so do talk to your own advisors about your specific set of circumstances. We'll talk about the what, the why, the strategy, the application, and I'll give you a case study. And then, of course, we'll go into what's next. All right, so what? There's 3 companies that are providing the turnkey solutions, and we wanted to, by specific intent, provide the end-to-end solution. So Everyday Tiny Homes, David unfortunately cannot be here, otherwise he would introduce himself, is the supplier of the unit. They organize everything for the kit to come to the port of destination. Global Build Tech, Dennis, then takes over and takes the kit from the wharf delivers it to site, and sees to the installation. Property Friends is the coordinator and interlocutor. Any questions, any issues, we do the deal, you ask us, we help. So I might as well get Dennis to introduce himself a little bit. You want to say a couple of words, where you come from, why you're enjoying this stuff, and how great we are?
No, absolutely. I was in Malaysia 15 years, and the last 6 years of that was doing prefab and modular construction for mining camps and a whole range of other things. I came back to Australia in 2023 and said, oh, goodness me, there's a housing crisis. Who knew? I didn't, what I wanted to do at that point was to make life easier for builders in Australia to be able to build faster, build better, build more affordably. And that means prefabrication. It means kit homes. It means a range of doing things smarter. Now, having gone through that exercise of putting kits together myself, and I was doing it with a range of different materials, when you introduced me to Everyday Tiny Homes and we looked at their kit and we looked at the way they approached it and the investment they put into it and how they were managing that manufacturing process, let me tell you, having been down that path, I was very impressed. They answered the questions that I couldn't answer myself when I was doing my own kit things. And so I was just really pleased to be part of the process and to be able to work with them who are manufacturing, with you who can deliver on the front end to your clients, and for us to be able to execute that to make sure that what happens after manufacturing gets to the client what they want in the time frame that they're looking for. Everybody happy, very smooth. It's a beautiful experience, and I'm really happy to be part of that process.
Look, I can't stress hard enough that we've done a lot of work on putting the right team together. The three companies are experts in what their specific areas are. As you heard from Dennis, he has got a tremendous amount of experience in kits, in modular manufacturing, that will stand us in very good stead. Ourselves, we've been in the industry for 23 years. I've been around the block a couple of times, as Dennis, as David. So I'm really delighted to have these three companies, this troika, working together. All right, let's get into it. If I can sort this. Okay. I thought we might as well go through a video walkthrough for the people that haven't seen it yet. I just play this 3-minute video because I think it's important. They say a picture speaks 1,000 words, a video tells 10,000. So I'm going to shut up for the 3 minutes and you can have a look. This is the Turnkey Lodge, a unit townhouse dwelling. Compact, very interesting, very livable, very nice design with the shade eaves over. Lounge, air conditioning standard. Now that's a nice kitchen in anybody's world for an apartment unit dwelling. Triple stacker doors, double glazed, tinted, not in this instance, but our upgrade is tinted. The lounge living, beautiful space, provision for air conditioning on both walls, provision for a fan, electrical connection is in the ceiling. The laundry is in this European way in a laundry cupboard. Beautiful wheelchair accessible bathroom, transition free. The new design is actually like that, with the hanging vanity, which is again great for wheelchair access, and the toilet and the shower. The master bedroom, 5.1 meters by 3.1 meters. So over 15 square meters of master bedroom. huge amount of space. The master bedroom also comes with a stacker door, double glazed. The entire building is 7-star energy rated and is fully C3 Cyclone approved. Second bedroom, again the stacker doors, double glazed, tinted glass. Again, provision for air conditioning is in the wall, so it's easy to add an air conditioner if one wanted to and if the environmental requirements are such. Beautiful views through the double stacker door. And tons of space for a bed with even side tables. Okay, so that was the video. Yeah, I just felt it was very much good to provide you with the overview of what is really a quality unit. And that is what Property Friends branding is all about, and that's what we stand for. Make sure that you understand this is not a tiny home. This is not a removable dwelling, which is the caravan standard. This is an NCC, National Construction Code, or BCA, Building Construction Authority of Australia, approved dwelling. So it's a normal house. We have chosen to stick to 60 square meters to enable us to fly under the radar and to get a lot faster approvals through council. So in a typical scenario, you will not need a development application. So the whole system is very much set up for speed, very much set up for a fast turnaround. All right, let's get into the why. The perceived problem, or the problem is that there is a housing crisis in Australia, and the Turnkey Lodge, TKL, is the solution to that. It's compact, 60 square meters. We are delivering it in the $250,000 price with a 33 square meter patio. Huge, humongous. And that means that you have effectively 93 square meters of space. It is affordable. I've set the price already, 250,000. We make no secrets out of that. We've priced it very aggressively. And we have that price on the brochure on the website. The fast approval and build times are second to none. We can push this through in the manufacturing process from your order in 3 months, and we are thinking that we can, once we've got the system up and running fully, install the unit in an incredible time of 2 weeks. So from the time that it hits site in a 40-foot high cube container, we'll do it in 2 weeks. And I have said to Dennis 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, Mike, this sounds incredible. Can you really do it? And that's why we're saying in the beginning, we'll start off with 3 or under a month, and we'll get it down to 2 weeks. But that speaks for the unit, doesn't it, Dennis?
Yeah, it's all in the design, right? And so I was impressed with how the guys at the Everyday went about the business of putting that design thought into it. So it is quality and it's going to be fast. Yeah, I'm very confident about that.
Sounds good. And apparently you can't fit a hand into the container anymore. It's that well packed and that well stacked.
That's correct.
Very, very good. It is a stylish alternative. So not only can we bring a house, a compact house that is affordable and it is fast, this is a quality unit. It's got eaves, it's got kickboards, it's got cornices, it's got all the mod cons that you would want to ask. It can be pushed up to a 9-star energy rating, which is exactly what I want to do with the first unit that we're doing, by the way, on Magnetic Island. Why Magnetic Island? Because nobody can do it there. Builders will typically have to put a team over there for 6-8 months. We do it in 2 weeks. Builders will typically have to ship all the materials on the barge to the island. We do it with one shipment in a 40-foot container. So that's why Dennis is smiling. That's why I'm smiling.
Anyway, I was just talking to a Townsville builder today about that, and he wants to see it happen, and then he wants to be involved.
Yeah, and we will make that happen for sure.
Mm.
Okay, there is quality. This is what Property Friends has stood for the last 23 years. We are not going to change that. We're not going to go into a tiny home. We're not going to skimp and build the cheapest that we can get away with. We will deliver a quality product, which is what we've always done. And of course, the unit is Cyclone 3, category 3 rated, which is incredible. That means that there is an additional 5 tons of steel in the unit. That ought to tell you something. All right, so to the strategy. We want to have a smart design for modern living, affordable, fast, turnkey solution. 3 months for the manufacture, 3 weeks for the turnkey installation. High energy rating, 7 to 9 stars. It is wheelchair accessible. That is a big plus in my world, especially when we look at one of the applications, which is the young at heart retirees. There is no secret in the fact that we are an aging population. And I want to make sure that once I am not as mobile as I like to be, I can still go and move around in my dwelling in a normal fashion and completely unabated. It is built for Australia, Cyclone at fixed price on your site. So how that works is it is $250,000 with everything that you need on a normal site. On an A-class rated site with 10 meters, up to a 10-meter run-ins. Obviously, we don't know your site, so we need to get some information from you, and then Dennis and I will sit together and put that firm price together. What specifically are you looking for? Can you mention a couple of things in information that we need to have a look at, Dennis?
Generally, it's about obviously location. One of the things we need to know where it is, type of site, type of access. Because we are moving a 40-foot container. It is craned together. The wall panels and floors, they're not that heavy of their own, but we've got a 2-ton full bathroom module. It's got to be craned in. So it's just it's understanding the access. If your site had any particular issues for the foundations, whether if it's on a slope, we need to know. If the soil is something other than standard. It's the normal things you have to do for a housing block. We have to get all the soil testing and geotech stuff ready so we understand what we're faced with, and then we come back to you and say, here's the situation, here's what it requires, and we can work through the issues on that. That's really what it is.
Yeah. And it's really for both Dennis and myself, and also for everyday tiny homes. It is a matter of putting the cards on the table, fully understanding up front what we're doing, where we're doing it, and how we're doing it. And then we can give you a fixed price, which I think is a huge advantage. Yeah. Finance, we are talking to a number of financial institutions. We're getting very good feedback. Even the 3 out of the big 4 are now getting into the financing of modular homes. As I said, I will spearhead the whole thing, and I have got a meeting with a finance broker on Friday. We have already to 90% secured the finance for the 8-unit site in Geraldton. There's certainly no stumbling points that I can see in that arena. And this is the big one for us, quality that you can trust delivered on a silver platter. Okay, so where can we use this? What's the advantage in it? The first homeowner buyer can really get into the market for a $350,000 mortgage. Now, that is incredible as far as I'm concerned. And how I came up with the 350,000 is 250,000 for a standard TKL, the Turnkey Lodge. And in my instance, I've got 3 of them on the one block. So that adds 100,000 in land cost. Now compare those 350,000 to your standard $800,000-900,000 mortgage. Yes, we are not talking about a back mansion, but what we're talking about is a lifestyle choice of getting into the market for the young'uns, having a foot in the door, and having a very comfortable 2-bedder unit. And this thing is incredibly comfortable. I'll say something about the layout later on. Just the master bedroom is 5.1 by 3.1 meters. A lot of people don't have that at home. Huge. And that is something that is really remarkable about the design. The unit flows extremely well. So we can use the unit as a first-time investor. We can use the unit as a seasoned investor, where if I have a backyard where I can have, let's say, 100 square meters in overall space, I can put a unit down for $250,000 and get $350 to $400 a week in rent. That at $350 is a 7.3% rental gross. Now, that's incredible. That gives you a big boost in cash flow. Of course, there are the empty nesters, the parents of adult children who want to have the children out of their house. It's always good when the little ones that have turned 30 and above get their own nesting place. And of course, there is the reverse example where we've got elderly parents that we'd like to have close to us, and we can get them with the TKL, with the Turnkey Lodge, a beautiful and very comfortable and secure, wheelchair accessible, I say it again, dwelling. There's the young retirees that want to unlock equity. I know of a lot of people. In fact, I had a discussion with a financial planner recently. She says that a lot of people are sitting on huge amounts of equity and cannot release it because by the time that they sell the McMansion and get themselves a 2-bedder, the difference in the normal retail market is not that much. So with all the on cost of buying and selling, which I typically say as a rule of thumb is 20%, you lose too much equity. Now, how about if you take your, in the old days, 600-800 square meter block, plonk a Turnkey Lodge on it, you separate 250-300 square meter of the lot out, strata title it, sell the front house, which will be still 70 to 75% of the total value of the previous property, and you release tons of equity. And then you take the key, throw it away for half a year and go traveling, have some fun. That's what it's all about. There's many ways to skin the cat, and I'm very happy about the variety of applications that we have. So let's have a look at it. Case study. Turnkey Lodge at 250,000 on a standard site. I explained the land at 100,000. Even if we buy a 500 square meter lot, yes, you will not get a 500 square meter lot for $200,000-300,000 in the middle of Melbourne or Sydney. But there are plenty of spaces where you can still get land at affordable prices. So that means a house and land package would be 300, let's call it 350. At 300 to 400, let's call it 350 a week. That's a 7.3% rental yield, which is incredible. The timeline, and I'm talking about the unit that I'm going to order this week. So by the end of July, I am ordering. It will hit site at the end of October. It will be move-in ready in November. I got the family already booked for this, so we better make this happen. So that means from 4 months from order to move in. That's incredible. That's incredible. And that is what will unlock the housing crisis in Australia, for sure. What's next? We are suggesting strongly a discovery call, so where we do the needs assessment. What does your site look like? What information do we need? What information do you want? So that we can make sure that we are all very clear on what we want to achieve. Because ultimately, it's all about where are we at? Where do we want to go? And then we can make that happen. But the where are we at is really important, because we don't want to leave any stone unturned. We don't want to have any issues that we haven't looked at. We want to be making sure that the cards are on the table, that everybody knows what the story is, that we don't have any surprises, because this is what the modular manufacturing is also all about. It is a replicatable, predictable system. And that is what we have done. We have created a building system. So we do the needs assessment, then Dennis and I will come up with a site scope definition and a fixed price. We have the option, you have the option of a fast track approval. We have even thought about the approval process, and we have lined up a company called Vitas, which for $12,500 will guarantee the process flow through the approvals, and will see to it that you get all the approvals. And that means that, again, we have created a delivery on the silver platter process. The modular manufacturing will happen. We transport to site, the assembly. Dennis will be very happy when he finally gets his hands onto one. And then you move in. You simply bring your furniture. We will have talked in the site scope definition whether you want any extras. So, for example, in the unit that I'm putting on Magnetic Island, I'm putting an air conditioner into every room. So there will be 3, not 1 air conditioner, which is standard. It is beautiful that we have a number of options where we can provide you with the unit as you want it. And heck, some people may want to run it as an Airbnb. We have even got the possibility, the choice for you to order the complete furniture package through us. And again, this is all about making it turnkey for you so that you have as little worries as possible. All right. Now, it wouldn't be a webinar without an upsell, would it? So, for the first 5 only people, we will provide a free site readiness report. This offer will not happen again. This is costing us $500 each, but I want to recognize the efforts, and I want to recognize the people that joined on this effectively launch webinar. So by all means, let us know. You have to have been registered for the possibility of accessing this. All right, so let's get into the Q&As. We've got a number of people here. Joanne, do we have any questions that have come through during the discussions?
Yeah, but we have a few questions from Dennis. It's actually some questions that have been asked by some people. We can go first with, how does the lodge meet or exceed Australian building standards, and what makes it Class 1A permanent homes compliant?
That one was for you. I suggest that we go one by one.
Yeah, the standards that the NCC and the BCA use for defining the requirements typically are around the structural elements, and that's really what the core of the whole thing is. Certainly, there are the energy ratings and all the other appropriate components that make up the full NCC rating come into it, but it comes down to the end of the day. Is this a structurally sound building? Is the materials used and the way it's been put together and the way it's going to be put together, does it comply? Having decided to go C3 for the Cyclone rating, they've stepped up the strength of the steel and the way they've profiled it as well. So that's the core of what the NCC rating certification is, that it is structurally going to stand the test of time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that, Dennis. Very well explained. The second question would be what materials are used in construction and how do they handle Australia's diverse climate conditions?
Again, structurally, they've used cold rolled steel as part of it, as the framework. All the wall panels, they're called SIPs, right? The structurally integrated panels. So they have an external, internal sheathing. They have a structural frame inside, which again is the steel. And that provides them the opportunity to both run the services, whether it's the air conditioning or the cabling or the plumbing or whatever. But they also have, I believe it's closed cell foam insulation inside all of the external walls. So that's where you get the energy rating from. It also gives you part of the structural strength as well. So that's, again, the flooring, as far as the flooring components, the wall components are all made of that sort of, that what we call the SIP methodology. And that's where you get, as I said, both the energy ratings, efficiency ratings, as well as structural strength.
Thank you.
Thank you. And next is what does Cyclone rated mean for the lodge design in which Australian regions is specifically engineered for?
Okay, again, so Australia, like all parts of the world, has some wind rating areas, and the northern parts of Australia, obviously, have the cyclone ratings and have the potential for cyclones. Again, it's a structural element. It's also part of the tie-down arrangement with the foundations and the footings. You've got to have a certain amount of tie-downs that you don't need to have in non-cyclone rating areas. But again, I would say what the whole part of that process is basically, will it withstand a cyclone at a category 5 or category 4? And in order to be able to do that, the shear strength, the lateral strength of the walls and the fixings and everything else have to be engineered to be able to withstand that. And again, that's what the guys at Everyday Tiny Homes and VTAS have done, have looked at that whole process, understood what the standards are, and complied with those, or complied or exceeded those standards to make sure that these homes are going to be around for a long time.
And it's interesting in that regard. Some of you will know that we are doing some work in and have done some work in Geraldton. Geraldton never had a cyclone rating. Now, lately, cyclones have come down as far as Kalbarri, which is only less than 100 kilometers away. So Geraldton now has, since April, introduced a C1 and a C2, depending on how close you are to the beach. Cyclone rating. Now, that is a huge issue for the builders that can't build a house within 2 years already. And now they're striking another obstacle, another thing that they don't know about, where they have to introduce new procedures, new building systems that they're not conversant about, and they don't like it. I can tell you that. Now, here we come along, we say C1, C2, nah, not a big deal. We go C3. That is also future proofing. And to be honest, we had the discussion, will we do C3 or will we also do units that are not cyclone? At this stage, everything coming out of the factory is C3 rated. And to be honest, I rather have 5 tons of steel more and be resting assured that my unit will withstand climatic conditions. And heck, I'm old-fashioned. 5 tons of steel more sound good to me. I don't know why, but it sounds good to me. Yeah, thank you, Joanne.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And regarding the assembly and delivery, what does efficient assembly technology mean in practical terms? How long does assembly take and what's required on site?
Dennis, can I get you on that one? Absolutely. Yeah. So again, having done prefab and modular builds in Malaysia, but also some in Australia as well, using our own system of large format cross-laminated timber panels, as long as you have a well-engineered, well-designed set of panels, this is panelisation, so that the flooring, for example, might only take 5 or 6 panels, which means they're all engineered to fit together. But it obviously means if I've got 6 panels to put down on my footings, it can go down very quickly. It's that simple. And the fixing methodologies between the panels and between the floor and the wall panels, now, if it's well designed, engineered, and designed to be a fast operation, just imagine I'm putting in perhaps 6 panels on the floor. I'm putting potentially maybe 4 or 5 panels for the wall sections, and the roof is probably 8 to 10. We're talking about craning these things up in a day, in my opinion. We're saying 3 weeks. When we get to the binder job, I'm going to see, because as far as I'm concerned, we ought to certainly be up in terms of to external frame stage and roofing stage in 2 days with the crane. I can't see how we can't be there. Internally,
That would
fit
be
out,
incredible.
we'll be there, we'll be videoing, we'll be doing, and of course on the tools as well to help things along. But yeah, just my experience in putting those things together. If you've got the right systems, they fly.
And this is the fun part. This is why, and I am happy to share that openly. Dennis and I like working with Dennis, and I hope that's reciprocal. You better say yes, man. We are both systems people. The people that are past clients of Property Friends know that I'm a systems guy. I like systems because they produce a duplicatable, predictable outcome. Dennis is the same, and Everyday Tiny Homes is the same. So that to me is really a match made in heaven, because things are not left to chance. I've got to give Dennis a lot of credit. He has already got the draft of the installation manual, and it is there before he even hits site, long before he hits site, before he's even seen the assembly. So the thinking about the processes, the anticipating of issues, the elimination of diversion, of mistakes, of what ifs is what it's all about. And that's why I'm really excited to have these 3 companies work together with what will be, in my view, an incredible result. Very exciting stuff. Thank you, Joanne.
Thank you. Thank you for that. And next question would be, how does the delivery and installation process work across different Australian locations?
Okay.
Yeah, that's where the systems come in again. We've got to be ready, whether it's Geraldton, Magnetic Island, Tasmania, or anywhere else. The clients will want things where they want things, and we have to have our systems be able to deliver wherever that may be. So again, it comes back to that whole process of foreshadowing what you have to do and making sure that you can put things in place that execution still happens no matter where.
Yeah, essentially it is delivered, the unit, the 40-foot high cube container is delivered to the next nearest deep water port, unloaded. We then take the 40-foot container, that is Dennis and his team will take the 40-foot container, deliver it to site. By the time that it hits site, the footings have already been installed. And then Dennis and his merry man, and certainly in the first couple myself, that'll be interesting, me building. Oh, anyway, we will be doing the assembly, and that'll be fun. That'll be fun.
Will be. It'll be a lot of fun. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. Thank you, Joanne.
And that comes back, as I said, it's fun when we're doing the first one, but when we've got 20 at the same time going on, we better make sure our systems are smooth and smick.
And they will be.
Yeah, thank you.
Do we have any other questions?
We have a couple more. What site preparation is required before a lodge unit can be installed?
Over to you, Dennis.
Again, let me just close that out. Yeah, so just imagine you have a flat site and you don't need to do any grading or anything else for drainage or whatever else. Then pretty much all that needs to happen is the pegging out, getting the survey done, getting the footings located and getting the footings in, right? That's really all that's needed, apart from if you've got to do any other sort of landscaping or whatever you may have to do. The first thing we need to do, of course, is get the soil test and get any other geotech testing done, just to be able to be sure that our preferred footing methodologies are going to work. There's nothing in there that we don't know about. It's going to be a problem in installation, for example, great chunks of rock or anything else. Apart from that, it's like any other building. You've still got to do your trenching and get your service connections in for your water and your mains and for your power mains and the sewer. And that all happens, as I said, we've got 3 months, generally speaking, we'll use that as a window, from order to delivery to port and ready to come out. So in that time, we're obviously going to be doing any assessments of the site works we need to do, get things organised and have the footings in. So whatever other connection things we need to do at that point will all be done within the time frame in readiness. So when the container turns up, the crane turns up, the boys turn up, boys and girls, hopefully, we're going to have a very smooth, it's just everything's ready for the container to be unpacked, everything installed and you're ready to move.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dennis. We have a couple of questions from one of the participants who weren't able to join today. If she wanted to put the lodge in her parents' backyard, is that even allowed? And what would they need to consider?
Okay, it is generally speaking allowed. It very much depends on the specific council. So that's another reason why we need to have a detailed discussion. Where is your specific site? And we strongly suggest to take advantage of the services of VITAS, where you get the certainty that the professionals are dealing with the site approvals, which is also the reason why we've chosen to stay within 60 square meters. There are different regulations between the various states in Australia. In Western Australia, for example, I believe you can go up to 90 square meters. But we wanted to create a duplicatable system that we can apply for all over Australia. That is the reason why we've come up with this incredibly low price. Incredibly low price. And I've benchmarked the hell out of it. There is no, I challenge anybody to come up with a competitor that provides the same product for this price. So we've chosen to apply effectively mass manufacturing principles. And that is what makes it work. So yes, as long as everything is equal, you should not require a development application, and the process of approvals should be very much fast-tracked.
Yeah.
Anything you want to add to that, Dennis?
No. Secondary dwellings or the granny flat, as they were usually known, are an ideal fit for this. They really are. Infill accommodation in cities is really what makes it moves the needle on the housing crisis, right? Because people still need to be able to live in areas where they work and whatever else. And if you can't infill with things like the lodge, then you'll be forcing them out to the outer suburbs, which means 2 cars, which means all that issue and all transport issues and whatever else. Whereas if you, for example, if you've got a standard 4-bedroom house in a suburb somewhere and your elderly parents are going to downsize a bit, then yeah, absolutely. They can be in the same location in a comfortable 60 square metre place that they can release equity in, that can also let the kids take part in that equity sharing arrangement or whatever, and still have a family space available that wasn't available before. It really is an opportunity for that type of granny flat infill to make a difference to the housing crisis as well.
And to add to that, they don't have to move out of the environment that they're comfortable in, that they may have lived in for, I don't know, 10, 20, 30, 40 years. So
Exactly.
that's a big point and a big plus that, again, speaks for the advantages of the Turnkey Lodge. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. And last question would be, what is the expected rental return like on a lodge, and how do I find tenants for it?
Obviously, that depends on the location. I have quotes or rental appraisals from a number of locations. So in Geraldton, for example, we are adding a carport, a double carport to the lodge. As always, horses for courses. When in Rome, do as the Romans. We are advised that we'll get about $400 a week for the lodge. Now, in Cairns, we are looking in excess of $400. In Townsville, we're looking in excess of $400. I will run the first one on Magnetic Island as an Airbnb. And believe you me, I wouldn't do it for $400 a week. So there's incredible opportunity, let's say it this way, out there for the lodge. And it obviously depends, it makes sense on your specific location. Again, property friends are happy to help there. If you've got any questions in that regard, we've got the contacts, we can facilitate any discussions. We're getting towards the end of it. Was there anything else, Joanne, or anybody on the call that wants to ask any last minute questions?
That's about it, actually. That's the last question we had for today.
Okay, fantastic. Thanks very much. Again, I invite you to go to the website, and at the bottom there is a link where you can book the discovery call. What have you got to lose? You don't pay anything for it. We can all learn and we'll go from there. Thanks again for attending. Take care, have fun, and remember, you gotta be in it to win it.
Thank you.
See ya. Thank you, Dennis. Bye-bye.